just sort of feel your body as a little island of its own. And you're not connected to anyone else's energy or story or even your own story, but you're open to receiving the love that is here for you, the teachings that are here for you, the guidance that's here for you, and the beauty of each moment as that unfolds. And you trust that it's always perfect, even when you don't know. And you know that you don't know. You can still trust the one love of God. You can still trust that Spirit is around you. Spirit is got your back. Always, in all things. So as you prepare your body and your mind and your spirit for the love and the wisdom of KRYON, you might want to feel into that place of gratitude for what always has been in your life and the what is still to come.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm KRYON of Magnetic Service. And how many times have we said that? I know. And if I told my partner, then he would start keeping track. And that's because human beings do that. And before I start this short channeling about a subject which is complex, one that has been brought up this day and needs to be discussed, I want to take a moment to say this. This may not be your reality. And even as the human being sits with wisdom, acceptance, tolerance, patience, the idea that a man can sit in a chair and deliver words in your language succinctly that are supposed to be from the other side of the veil is a stretch. And we know it. When we speak to the individuals in the room through intuition, it's often not seen, heard, acknowledged, sometimes discounted, and we know it. And that's why they call it a veil. There is a separation between the consciousness of a 3 or 4 single-digit human being and a multidimensional creative source, and we know it. And so much of the puzzlement that goes on with the old soul trying to connect with a higher power is the puzzlement of not truly understanding what's on the other side of the veil. It would be like you driving across a bridge having no idea what will be on the other side, whether there'll be roads on the other side, whether or not that physics works the same way for your car on the other side. So how is it that you're expected to have a linear communication with an energy that is benevolent and loving and compassionate, but you really don't know much about? Now I'm speaking to you in your language. And I'm doing it in a linear way that is one word after another. And that is not how I'm speaking to my partner. And it took him years to take a language that is not linear and put it into linearity. And I would like to tell you what was involved, because both of us changed. And that is the secret. God is not a static God, one that is uninterested in energy in the sky that just lays there and hopes you get it right. It is a benevolent, loving entity, if you wish to call it an entity that knows you personally because you're part of it. You are a piece of the energy of the Creator. Therefore, as you reach your hand out, we reach ours out too. And so that expression of free will has to do with intent. And as you reach to us and you say, I wish and I intend to communicate in a way that is succinct, understandable, accurate, and pure, you've got help. For we then start to change the way we see you because of the way you see us. You open a window for both. And so through the years, my partner, through the window that he has opened, has changed the way we communicate with him. And we have become more linear. And he has become more multidimensional. And in that process, you get purity, understanding, and a succinct message. And if you study the channeling of KRYON, you will see the structure in the message. It's compartmentalized. It's logical. There's a start, a middle, a finish. And none of these things will you see in a multidimensional energy, a soup where there is no time. And so something had to happen in our communications that would allow this meld. And what about your intuition? It is the same. As you start to practice that which you call intuitive thought, if you wish to hold on to it longer and see what it says, the sender of the intuitive thought will also change. You are giving intent to straighten out, interpret, and translate the message as you give intent to hear it. Human beings are compartmentalized to the max, and this is part of being a three-dimensional human. You actually are in 4D, but you call it 3. And past that, there is a multidimensional soup, not even countable. It doesn't go 5 on. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, all. And it makes it so difficult to cross that bridge. And so what I'm going to tell you next is going to trigger confusion. And it's exactly what I want to do. Because I wish you to think out of the box. In order to do this, I will present a scenario that involves what you would call the human soul. Now, I just gave you an expression that is incorrect. It's only incorrect because human language betrays the bias of singularity in the phrase. The meaning a. Human belonging to one. Soul, not souls, singular. So you have one, human soul. It belongs to you, you belong to it. End of story. And that is how you portray it, and that is the way you think of it. So let us take that concept apart in a way that you will understand. And again, we start in that marvelous field, long time ago, when the prophet Elijah, with free will, decided to ascend. One of the only human beings, through free choice, who decided to ascend on his own schedule outside of the transition of death, and in his case had somebody watching and taking notes. And when he did it, the first thing that the note taker, whose name was Elisha, saw was that he turned into a ball of light. And so we have the concept right now of something happening and the question of what it was. For whatever the energy of the human soul was did not go into the sky and turn into light. Nothing came down to get him and turn into light. He turned into light while he stood in the field. And this was the combination of the pieces and the parts of the soul on earth and the soul on the other side of the veil. And that combination cannot be sustained in a corporeal form. Now, I want my partner to back up and give you that again. When you decide to come into this planet, dear human being, you already have a soul on my side. And it's not a soul. It's part of the soup of God. It's a collective, a confluence of energy that can never be separate. A piece of us is imbued in you. A piece. It's not possible for you to come into this planet with your entire self that is spiritual. You cannot bring your whole soul in because you would vaporize like Elijah did. Part of you has to stay on my side of the veil. And so the working puzzle here, and that you see, is you already have a soul split. And that soul split is the communication strand, some calling it the silver cord, that keeps you grounded on the planet but allows an open portal through the pineal to that which is the peace of God you are. You call it the higher vibrating self, higher self. And so your quest for the higher self is really the quest to talk to that part of you on the other side of the veil, which you call God. Are we confused yet? This is the easy part. So I hope you see this part, because the rest of it gets really confusing. And here you are on the planet, a piece of you. Because you are sacred part of the creative source, the other part of you remains on my side. What you call the other side of the veil. And now you're walking the earth with a puzzle. How do I connect? How do I connect? The old soul is the first one to ask that, because lifetime after lifetime they have felt the connection and they wish to reconnect it again. And this is part of what brings you to the chair, or to listen to this channeling, or to know more about your soul. So let us say this is the starting part of this story. Now it gets complicated. We have told you that upon your death, a piece and the part of that which is your soul energy stays on the planet in several ways. We'll talk about the living way so it doesn't get even more confusing. You stay with your loved ones as part of their guide set. And we have told you this before. How many of you sitting in the chairs, listening right now, can feel those you've loved and lost around you. And I will tell you, you've got to be dense as a brick not to. Because the old soul knows I'm right. If you've lost parents, they're with you. If you've lost children, they're with you. This is part of the most grand system you can imagine. And in the new teaching, in this newer energy, it is going to start to get more complex because you're able to understand it. Swallow hard and say, although I am singular, I get it. You don't have to know the physics of it. But if you could be multidimensional and you would understand what the physicists call quantum, you'd know you can be in several places at the same time. Multidimensional energies that you can see on the planet, you can prove can do that. So it's not such a stretch that the soul can too. And you cannot ask the questions, where am I? You can't. Because you're everywhere. Your focus at the moment is in your human body. But part of your soul is on the other side of the veil. Now it gets complicated. When you pass on, the corporeal part that was in your soul, part of it goes to collective and you become complete, except that you leave some behind and you leave it with your loved ones who remain. Now they have part of your soul as their guide group and they're walking around on the earth. So let's take a summary. You have come and you've gone, you've departed, and now you are on the other side of the veil as a part of God, except pieces of you are with your loved ones, depending upon how many you have and how many children, and even those you've fallen in love with that are still here and you're not. They don't even have to be biological family, they're karmic family. You may be a piece and a part of as many as 25 or 30 people on the planet, and they're walking around. Now, how many are you at this point? And you can't answer that any more than you can say, how many are in the soup that we have discussed? Now, get ready for the hard part. You decide to reincarnate. And you do. And in comes the precious baby. And the cave of creation knows you're coming. And all that you were in all of your past lives is put into the DNA so that you would have the record inside of you as you progress and mature in your life and awaken, using that soup of energy and all the wisdom of the past lives to create this life, this new life as a child. And so here you are, reincarnated on the planet, and at the same time you're on the other side, and at the same time you're with 25 other people. So where is the soul now? Now I want you to amplify that by as many times as you've lived. And also to know that a part of your soul remains on the planet every single time you come and you go. That part of the energy of what you do is in the crystalline grid. And there's even more. Things we haven't discussed yet are part of this plan. You belong to Gaia. Because the Gaia energy is the collection point of the human soul parts, if you might say that. In a way, you never leave. In a way, you're always on the other side. In a way, you're always with loved ones. How do you like it so far? It's not about the complexity, it's about the beauty of the system. And it is a system. It's just not linear. And in our view, the hardest thing to tell you is this: because we have no time like you do, and because we have no linearity like you do, we see the culmination of all of your past lives and all of your karmic family happening all the time, and we see your imprint as enormous. I hope you get this. As you sit in the chair, we see the enormity of your soul influence on earth. And that is why we wash your feet. And that is why we congratulate you for what you've done. We don't see it a lifetime at a time like you do. We don't even see the complexity we've just given you. We just see your imprint and your stamp of this beautiful soul on so much of the planet, and so many humans who have also gone on to be old souls and shared it with their loved ones and karmic family. In a way, you might say the creative soul of you is everywhere. And I wanted to give that to you in these short moments so you'd have a better idea, not just of who you are, but as how we see you. Is it any wonder that our hand is always outstretched, waiting for pure intent? Waiting for free will, if you want to say, I want a bigger window. And in the bigger window, I'll have more information. And in the bigger window, I have more opportunities and more power, literally, to create that which I wish to create. And the old soul, with the maturity and the patience that is being developed, will always wish to create that which is benevolent for the planet, and it starts with peace on earth. That is only the first goal, dear one. You see it as the ultimate. Once you've got peace on earth, all is well. Oh, really? Once you have peace on earth, let me tell you, you can start the process of an ascended planet. Not until then. When you stop killing each other, we can begin. Now, we've never said that before either. There is so much ahead of you. And the old souls in the room are not done with your work. Do not interpret this as, oh my goodness, I'm going to be tired. Because you don't have the mind of God while you sit here in a corporeal body. When I see you on the other side of the veil, yet again, we'll celebrate and congratulate you as you return quickly in order to continue what you won't miss, the party you won't miss. This is what we see. It's the reason we're here. These are complex times with complex ideas that you are ready to hear. Go from this place different than you came. Not confused, but rejoicing in the system that is benevolent and loving, created for you. And so it is.